for Knox is about to be audited, and that's imminent. And you're going to see that gold reserves are little to none. What do you think that'll do to the price of gold? And with silver being ramsacked with COMEX on the markets, that's sure to follow as well. The link in the description and call for the information. It's free. The consultation is free. The cost of not taking advantage of this has lasting consequences, folks. Please tell them John and Chris sent you. You'll be more than happy that you did. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. We have our monthly guest and good brother, Greg Mannarino, joining us for another roundside chat on the latest financial situation here and globally. We'll get his insights on different questions as always. If you're new to the channel, please do like, subscribe, and share so others can gain the knowledge you've been afforded. As you well know by now, Greg has been a stockbroker for over 20 years and has over 20 years in the medical industry and has his own exclusive MMRI index that he uses to do real predictive updates in terms of the treasury bond yields and many other aspects, which we'll be talking with him about as always. How are you doing today, brother?
Me, I'm all right, bro. Every day above ground is a good day.
100% on that one.
As I was saying, my dog is really ill, so I was up most of the night with her, unfortunately. But other than that, I'm okay.
Okay, well, yeah, and we'll definitely keep your dog in prayer. So thanks for letting us know. It worked wonders for your sister, so why not go two for two?
Well, my dog, it's unfortunate. She's really old. I understand that, nothing, she can't go on forever, but yeah, she could use a little prayer, a couple of prayers right now.
Consider it done, my friend. Consider it done.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to respect your time. I know you're busy as always, so I want to show you something here. If you'll just bear with me a second, I will get to it. So this came out, and it's no surprise to you. It's just a talking point, obviously. President Trump talking about Fort Knox and auditing that. And, we both know that there's probably little to no gold there. He's even hinted or come out overtly and said it. I guess the question is, Greg, once he does do the audit in some form or fashion, isn't that next going to be auditing the Fed and auditing the IRS? And when that does happen, how do you see that playing out?
Well, I want to see someone get arrested, man. I don't want to hear all this nonsense and see photographs and pictures of which may or may not be real. I want to see action taken. We can be told there's fraud and misallocation of funds all over the place. I have no doubt that's happening. It happens every day in business and everywhere else. I want to see some people held to account. I want to see some freaking arrests here. I understand President Trump is only in office for not too long here. But I'm looking forward to that. Without some accountability, it's a joke, man. And who's going to be the joke on? It's going to be on us, of course. So let's see if that actually happens. If in fact this is the case, well, maybe they're removing it now, so they can blame it on whoever they want to blame. I don't buy any of it. I'll be honest with you. It's a game of charades. We've been repeatedly lied to. Distracted and deceived from every freaking angle. And again, until I see some real accountability and I'm willing to wait, well, I'm going to sit back and just say it's all garbage until I actually see some action taken.
Sure. I can understand that. I think you can count on the fact, Greg, that there is going to be some, just for the simple fact that he's going to get a vendetta against all the people that tried to take him out and his family at the very least. But to your overarching point, we do definitely need to see the arrests in full scale. And I'm with you on that. And I'm praying every day that is going to materialize sooner rather than later. Going to the next point, a very simple one, but one that I think is a good basic one, another talking point. As you know, today, I haven't checked it since then, but as of this morning, crude is interesting, Greg, because it's taken a dip down last week. I don't know if you saw, I'm sure you did. It was a trading at a sell-off last week. It was below 65, which seems pretty significant. I think we have today gold, what 29, 13 and change, and silver in the 32, 64-ish range. So the same question that I typically ask you, but it's the nagging refrain of what I think we're looking for is, how much longer do you think it'll be in this slow holding pattern before it breaks out?
Well, what do we know is happening here, man? The global economy is in shambles, it's being taken apart. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that moving forward, we are going to see negative GDP here in the United States. The real worry is obviously demand. But this is going to be counteracted by a dollar that's in free fall. And that's not going to stop. Commodities are priced in dollars. I do not believe this is going to last. As a matter of fact, if anyone's interested in looking at this, I've done breakdowns on my website, traderschoice.net, second page, with regard to where the price action appears to be going with regard to the S&P 500. Quite honestly, I nailed it to the wall over the last week, exactly what's happening here. I looked at the dollar index here. I looked at silver, as a matter of fact. And for those people that do subscribe to my newsletter, which is free, I did a whole breakdown of crude oil. This, in my opinion, again, I'm bearish right now in the short term with regard to crude. Longer run, I think just understanding that, again, commodities are priced in dollars, and the dollar's got nowhere to go but lower. I mean, here's the situation. It's dire. The U.S. dollar relative strength index, or the Dixie, is sending us a very, very ominous sign. We're not seeing the general knee jerk here into the dollar, which you would expect to see as the stock market has fallen over 10%, about 10%,
Mhm.
in over the last few weeks. That's a big tell. Look, people don't want the dollar. Right? American citizens don't want the dollar.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. So the world is turning their back on the dollar. The United States, in my opinion, is being systematically erased. And this is going to unfortunately lead to a lot of suffering. We are at war right now. Just because people aren't bleeding doesn't mean people are not suffering. It's an incredible situation how people are just so psyoped into not understanding that
Yeah.
we are in an economic war, which is getting progressively worse. Just President Trump did increase tariffs here on Canada, and is talking about implementing, which I said was going to happen. It's an incredible thing with regard to China. It was getting floated out a few weeks ago with regard to their ships using American ports, a $1 million surcharge on the ships bringing goods from China. Okay, I get it. But again, who pays for that? It's going to be obviously the people. It's always gets passed on. I really believe there's another solution. Unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be one, and people don't understand what's happening. And with regard to the dollar, the problem is there's no roadblock here, none whatsoever, to stop the tsunami of inflation that's coming at us. It's picking up speed, velocity, strength. I stand corrected. I keep forgetting this, that President Trump did in fact throw $1 billion at inflation, but that's it. So we could expect this to get progressively worse, and the cost of living here and around the world, as the economy is taken apart piece by piece. This is not by accident. This is deliberate. Only into issuing a new system, and the new system is going to be one of maximum control. And people are willing to surrender it. They're willing to surrender their freedoms and their liberties to be taken care of. This is not a new thing. This is something we've seen since time immemorial, and unfortunately, I believe it's going to get worse.
Well, thankfully, our audience is not of that persuasion. We're going against the grain contrapuntally. And as you always say, we just have to continue to beat that drum to try to effectuate as much change as we can as the whole collective society.
We gotta keep the high ground, bro. You know that. Your
Absolutely.
followers are well versed in this. We gotta understand,
Mhm.
man, don't put your faith in the wrong place. Keep it in the right spot,
That's right.
and realize that you need to do for yourself as well.
100%.
And we need to prepare. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, look, man, US, I'm telling people right now what's gonna happen. We're gonna see a waves plural, of small business failures here in the United States. Unfortunately, their input costs are skyrocketing. The consumers is suffering here. Of course, the big corporations are going to be able to weather this storm, but the small businesses here in the United States and around the world are going to be crushed under the weight of this. And it's a shame to see that U.S. small businesses in period used to be the backbone. Now they're being wiped out in favor of the corporate agenda. And what we're seeing here is, it almost seems deliberate. It's an incredible thing. There's no way around this, really. And who's going to pay? Again, it's the small business here. It's the consumer. I mean, there's the fable that has been sold to the masses here is, it's nations, and people believe this, that it's Canada, it's Mexico, it's China that are paying for these tariffs. No, nations don't pay the tariffs. We pay it. The importers and exporters pay these tariffs. It's collected by the government. We all know that. At least we should. And those costs are passed on to us. I really wish that we could get world leaders together here in a room and get them to iron this stuff out. But it's being played out this way, I believe, on purpose to keep people off balance, not knowing what's going on, tariffs off, it's that and the other thing here. And unfortunately, it's keeping people in a very bad spot, and they don't know what to do. I think people are being forced into a state of learned helplessness, which is a real thing. People should look this up, and surrendering to the system. And I hope that most people, at least people that follow our work, are
Mhm.
not doing that. They're taking action and realizing what's going on and why it's happening. This is all the common denominator is very simple. Let's look around the world. Every so-called developed nation on this planet has a common denominator, and that is they are living under the rulership of a central bank. And the central banks are getting stronger and stronger and stronger every day as the global debt is ballooning. Debts and deficits here in the United States, trade deficit skyrocketing, where it's not going to stop. These tariffs are not making us rich. Another total lie, flat out, that was told during the last Trump term and now. We're not getting rich off this, and other nations are getting rich as well. I mean, this tit for tat economic warfare obviously is paid by we the people. And if people don't start holding the leaders to account, they're going to lose.
Hmm. Fair enough. Thank you for that, Greg. And it's funny you mentioned war, because that was actually going to be one of my next setup questions. So I'm going to give you a two-part question, if you don't mind, in the interest of time. I'll lump
Yeah,
them
sure.
together. We've done this
Yeah.
before. Um,
Hey, hey.
we know what we're doing sometimes. At least you always do. I'm still
We
learning.
always do, bro. Come on, man. You know,
It's
it's
more.
your game. I'm just sitting here.
No, it's your world. We're just paying rent. But seriously, and less than 2 weeks ago, as you probably know, Israel sent about 400,000 troops to the southern border of Iran, and they're threatening retaliation of both U.S. and Israel forces and infrastructure. And then you tie in the fact of President Trump using the threat of World War III to make peace deals behind the scenes. So I guess the question is this about face? And is this merely a distraction for the global reset ultimately to happen with respect to BRICS?
Look, man, this is what I see going on, and no matter how you want to look at it, be we the people who are going to pay for whatever's going on the geopolitical stage. It's
Mm.
always the same. It never changes. If people are looking for something to change, it's not coming, man. People need to be prepared for where we're going, and it can't be stopped. I mean, these wheels have been put in motion from a very, very, very long time ago, and it's just a continuation of the same thing. And what it really comes down to, again, is the system is toxic. The system is coming apart, and I believe it's deliberate. And how whatever they got to do, whatever mechanism they have to use to bridge us into the new system, and I think it involves dependency. And I've been warning about this for I don't know how many years. Dependency on the current system only to bridge us into a new system, and whether it's going to be an actual kinetic war or whether it's going to be economic war, which is real war. People suffer. People are being set up to suffer moving forward. Why? Again, it creates more dependency on the system. It's what it's really all about. It's the backbone of what's happening here. So this geopolitical posturing and this, that, and the other thing, how is it really helping us all, man? It's not. Look around us. I mean, this is not new. This has been going on for a very, very, very long time. We said we're really at a point here where I think what's happening here with regard to the system is with regard to Doge and everything else, they're taking apart the system and they're going to see how far they can push it before it breaks. And then of course there's going to be a problem, and of course we're going to be offered some kind of a solution. And unfortunately, I don't think whatever comes out. I think there's a lot of good that has been done here, but again, we haven't really seen any actual proof. Again, no accountability, no arrests have been made, and I'm just waiting for one high level arrest, and I can wait. I'm willing to wait 6, 8, 10 months, 12 months. If we don't see an arrest within the next, I would say, 3 to 6 months,
Mhm.
we know we've all been duped. And we'll see how that plays out. Unfortunately, I don't foresee that. I see a lot of talk, a lot of action, with no action with regard to arrests, and that's really what it's all about for me. I don't want to hear this nonsense. But anyway, look, man, going back to this, we're in a state of war. The whole entire world. This economic war is going to devolve or evolve into more suffering for people wherever they are on the planet, unfortunately.
Yeah. And again, we say this all the time, but I think it bears repeating that because my audience, your audience, respectively, are synergized, like we said, it gives an opportunity for us to take advantage of the contrapuntal motion, right? And then effectuate change for as much of the society as we can in terms of our friends, family, business colleagues, et cetera. Sometimes one and the same. I'm glad you brought up Doge because that actually was something else I wanted to show you real quick. I don't know if you saw this on the US debt clock, but they've implemented some new categories, as you can see here: DeFi, bankless future. No surprise to you. Well, what I thought was interesting is they're doing sort of a new category, to your point, reverse engineering with the federal interest savings, total interest savings. Then they're talking now about savings for taxpayer instead of the cost per taxpayer under the cabal system with the, maritime law and all that. As you know, federal has no federal and no reserves. And then this other point about income tax free, which I'm praying will be encouraging. U.S. Treasury dollars instead of Federal Reserve. Tariff revenues, and then the gold Visa card. We know what that's about. But as we take a look at this other one, Greg, this is the other one I thought was intriguing. So hang with me for a second here. This is part 2 of the debt clock. This is one I really want to dig in with you because it deals with stuff you've been dealing with in your wheelhouse for years in terms of the paper to gold ratio, the BRICS. Here we go again. That's a new insert there, GDP to gold ratio, which they're intimating at this point it would cost almost 136.4 basically to pay off the national debt if they were to use gold as the equalizer. Dollar to crypto ratio. You and I are both about the cryptos, the right ones, particularly stuff like XRP, especially in the backs of last week's summit, the M2 money supply. And then this total hidden wealth, which is a sovereign wealth fund per person, and that seems to be accruing. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on that and what you see with that juxtaposition.
But I see these numbers on the screen, man. It doesn't tell me much. And what I want, look, man, this is all well and good. We could look at this stuff and say it looks beautiful. Okay. How is that actually helping people right now survive? It isn't.
Right.
People can't get by. I mean, the debt load on each individual person right now is skyrocketing. We have issues across the board, and nothing seems to be being put in that way. This is great. It's a nice pacifier in many ways to look at all this stuff. But how is it helping the regular guy or girl on the ground? It's not helping anybody. What I see here is unfortunately a setup for the people to continue down the same path we're on. I don't know when this is going to stop. And it's only I can't imagine that for the regular guy or the regular girl trying to survive in the middle class right now, that there is anything right now that is going to give them any sign of relief over the next. I mean, I believe within 6 months from right to now today, and we should remember this video, that the United States economy and probably the world along with it is going to be unrecognizable. So all these beautiful numbers on the screen telling us how great we're doing sounds like the Biden administration, doesn't it? With all their fake nonsense propaganda garbage. I mean, nobody probably called Biden out more than me. I had a slew of nicknames for that thing creature puke that he was. I
Yeah.
couldn't stand the man, and you know that. But
Same.
I don't see anything, man. I want to see action. I want to see people thriving. I want to see people surviving. In a way that's conducive to a lifestyle that they deserve, not living in the situation that they're in right now. And mark my words, all these beautiful numbers on the screen. Let's see how this helps you small businesses moving forward. We're going to see failures like people are not going to believe moving forward, in my opinion. And just all the data points to it. All the data points to that. And it's very sad because people, unfortunately, bro, they're going to suffer, man.
Well, I do agree with you that something's got to give. There's no doubt about that. And for me and my team, and certainly for you, I think prayer is one of the strong antidotes. And then, of course, galvanizing our audiences with empowered information to go contrapuntal to their agenda. Speaking of which, you're talking about the data. I wanted to ask about that because we haven't talked about this in a little bit. The market, as you know, has experienced a major sell-off. You touched on that earlier. But let's focus on the thing that we should be focusing on, that you always talk about, and that is respect to the Treasury bond yield. What are you seeing in the MMRI about that as of late?
Well, the MMRI has been bounced around a little bit. I'm working on a brand new version of this, and it's unfortunately taken a lot longer than I thought. It should be out within a couple of weeks. Unfortunately, it's called MMRI beta. It's going to be more conducive to evaluate. Here. Now, look, the fact is we're in a high risk environment, and it doesn't even in a low risk environment, things can get pretty gruesome pretty quickly. I see several things going on here, and I think most of our audiences would have to agree. We are in a currency crisis. We're in a massive debt crisis, and a liquidity crisis all at the same time. And obviously, these all are interconnected. So, what do we do about it? I mean, the root cause of to fix the root cause of the problem means we have to fix the currency, man. To fix the currency, currencies are units of debt. These are not units of wealth, and nothing so far is being put in the way. And this is not just here in the United States, this is around the world. People are unfortunately being forced to participate in a system that's failing. And this does not appear to be one single world leader right now doing a damn thing about it. We do not need lower rates here. Lower rates is a wrecking machine for the middle class because it steals purchasing power. It
Mhm.
destroys the economy. I mean, come on, man. This is economics 101. From a weak currency, from a corporate standpoint, different. That's a whole different ball game here because the overseas corporations that trade overseas here, they take advantage of the exchange rate, but it doesn't help. We the people here, sure, let's get them to pile on their big profits and that they're fat cats and multimillionaires and billionaires. They're going to do great. Well, where's the wealth come from? You see, people don't understand when they see the rich getting richer and richer and richer here. Does that wealth just come out of nothing? No, it has to be moved from one place to the other. And right now, we're witnessing the largest grand theft in the history of the world. And this has been going on now for quite a while. I can't see a way that it's going to stop. Unfortunately, I would imagine the only way to fix this is to dramatically raise rates, which means that would for sure lock in a what they're calling is they're not even confirming that we're going into recession, even though we already are in one, and we're going into an
Yeah.
inflationary depression, is what it looks like to me as we move forward. And or if President Trump would finally, sign an executive order to utilize the Gold Reserve Act of 1934, which is put in place to stabilize the economy, monetize gold, revalue it, whatever he sees fit, and then back the dollar with it. Sure, let's audit the Fed. Let's take all fake pictures and tell everyone that that's what it is. I mean, come on, man. I mean, I might have been born at night, but not last night. It's too much. It's just stupid, bro. But I mean, look, man. I hope people understand what I'm saying, and stop waiting for someone else to take action. We the people need to take action, and we the people need to hold people to account. Period. The end. I'm done with the fake numbers and the freaking nonsense and the propaganda. We experienced that over the last 4 years from Biden creature who told us how great we were doing, how strong our economy was. It was a lie. It was an absolute lie. We have seen the money velocity drop all through Obama, all through Trump's last term, all through Biden until now. Now it's picking up because we're getting inflation here, and that's a problem I said would happen. And
Hmm.
this is going to get much worse moving forward unless someone takes action. And I don't see a damn thing being put in the way of stopping inflation from getting wildly out of control moving forward. Unfortunately, maybe things will change today. I have no idea.
No, I mean it's a fair point. I mean, this is more of a comment leading to my last question for you for the day, but one of my concerns is when they do this Doge dividend and give people a bunch of money, which they should have done a long time ago, but you've already prefaced it. Is what does that do to hyperinflation in the short term as we make this transition? You know?
Look, man, first of all these proposed savings and everything here, why don't we try, like, again, here's my plan. Let's hold people to account, tell us who's responsible, and then how about we claw back or at least try some
Mhm.
of the fraud and misallocated funds? Wow, what a brainstorm. And then maybe pay people off of that. Otherwise, where are we getting this cash from?
Right.
Numbers on a screen that apparently are real or not? I have no idea, dude, what's going on. Nobody does. It's an incredible thing to see. But you're right. I mean, look, let's throw cash at the people, and then maybe it'll pacify them a little bit here in this environment. I mean, $5,000 ain't going to go very far. Maybe for some people it would, but it ain't going to last very long. It's
Excuse me.
not a permanent fix like anything else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's being done right now. We're rapidly moving into a deteriorating environment, and that looks like, to me, at least from everything I look at, that it's only going to get worse from here.
Sobering thought. Last question for the day, Greg, is this came up something my team came up with in the last couple of weeks, and I'm really curious to pick your brain about it. It's a more protracted question, but it falls within the auspices of what we talked about many times with BRICS. So you've got President Trump, who I showed you the picture last on our last podcast meeting with Malay, and they've come up with zero tariffs. And of course, he's talking about 100% tariffs optically with BRICS. But now it seems that he's using some of his art of the deal real estate mogul tactics, as you remember, as a kid back in the 80s in New York, when he bankrupted his businesses, I think what, 92, and then reset everything all of a sudden magically, right? And was that sort of a litmus test to what he's going to do with the system now as we transition from a cabal system, based on debt, to hopefully a people's economy, which is the goal here, as you said, backed by precious metals and higher rates and so on and so forth. My question is, do you think that it's an about face? What he's really going to do is say to the BRICS nations and all their currencies, hey, look, I'll remove the tariffs, I'll remove the sanctions, which never need to be there in the first place, if you give us higher returns on these currencies in terms of what we've got. And because we're working with the Treasury through the banks, because you don't have printing presses overseas the way you do, to the extent that we do with the old, Federal Reserve machine. Do you think that might be one of the strategies he's using behind the scenes?
Look, man, what I see here, and we understand that Russia right now is testing a blockchain-based
Mhm.
international payment system. I
Mhm.
don't understand the whole situation yet, but there's a lot of talk about this either backed by gold one way or the other.
Mhm.
Now, or settled in gold. This is fantastic, and I've been telling people for the
Yeah.
longest time, whoever does this first will win. I don't understand what President Trump is waiting for. Why not today? Again, the man's been signing executive orders about everything you can think about and dream about and fantasize about and maybe even have a nightmare over. Why not right now today utilize the Gold Reserve Act of 1934? I don't understand what are we waiting for here? You want to end the Fed? You want to have the creatures that dwell within the halls of the Federal Reserve not to know what to do with themselves? Well, go ahead and sign this executive order. Let's implement this. We could change. President Trump could save the world here by doing this. And if we don't step up here, someone else is going to do it, and
Mhm.
that means we lose. Now, with regard to President Trump, the guy is a genius, and there's no doubt no one can take this away from him with regard to real estate development. He's the man. He knows what to do. He's proven that's how he made his fortune. He did not make his fortune in business. If he had three casinos that failed, who can lose in a casino? So, with regard to running a business, it remains it's very dubious. In fact, I would say that's not where Trump's strength is. It's in real estate development, and he's proven that, and no one can take that away from him. He's probably one of the best real estate developers of all time. But with regard to business, how to run a business, it doesn't seem to work out too well. Look, we all have our strengths, and his strength is clearly in real estate development. That's how he got his wealth.
Mm.
But anyway, look, man, I'm just hoping and praying, obviously, that and I believe this as much as you do, bro. We got to come together in this and start realizing that prayer is strong and it works, but make sure you got your faith in the right place. And because I really do believe that if people do not at least start to stand up for themselves, grow a backbone, they're going to feel the wrath on them. It's unfortunate, but we're letting things happen without really holding anyone to account. And that bothers me a lot because I don't know how the Almighty looks at that and says, okay, hold on a minute. These people want me to help them, but they don't want to help themselves.
Mhm.
And that bothers me a little bit. I mean, it's just a perspective on it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to your point, Greg, the Bible says faith without works is dead. So you have to do your part in it, right? It's a relationship. And then
That's what my mom told me all growing up, man.
she was right.
So I believe that's true. I mean, I've been hearing this freaking 60 years, man. I'm almost 60. So, yeah.
You look good for that,
Anyway,
let me tell you. Then the footnote part, and I apologize, I didn't have a chance to bring up the slide on that because you made a very important point inside of the point about what Russia's doing. I don't know if you saw, you probably did, and I think we can't end without bringing this up. It's good for our audiences to know that Russia is settling real-time assets 50% XRP for oil and precious metals. So they're already moving the needle. And I think Russia was one of the top economies in the world in 22 and 24 and remains to be seen. You've got nations like Iraq now that are seventh in the world currently in gold reserves. South Africa is, I think, number 3 ahead of the US, which is really interesting, because we talked about Zimbabwe before. So it appears that you're right, that it looks like BRICS is going to get the jump on these things.
let me say this real quick.
Uh huh. Please.
I wish sincerely, everyone's focused on, Trump's executive order to add crypto and Bitcoin to the US strategic reserves. I
Right.
really sincerely wish we were adding gold and silver here. I wish President Trump would
Great.
sign an executive order today, regardless of what may or may not be in Fort Knox over there. Who cares if it's fully stocked? We need to add more
Right.
to our strategic reserves, in my opinion. You know, Great, cryptocurrencies are fantastic. Let's do that, but they're extremely volatile. I mean, it's crazy. The most stable asset on the planet is
Mhm.
and has been proven throughout history to be gold.
Yep.
So I really don't understand what's going on here. Why are we not adding this, regardless of what may or may not be in Fort Knox or wherever else?
Right.
We really should be adding gold and silver, in my opinion, to the strategic reserves, which would strengthen our position here. But it's not
Mm.
happening. We're not hearing anything about it. There's not even rumor about it. And I talk to everybody. I haven't heard a thing about any of this stuff here. So that's worrisome to me. Well, the rest of the world seems to be moving in that way. Trump is defending the dollar. It's all he's going to know. We're going to hit you with 100%. We're going to do. Why are we doing that here? Why are we not, again, you want to defend the dollar, the Federal Reserve's twisted scheme that they play on all this? You got to be kidding me. All he's doing is defending the Federal Reserve. And with Elizabeth Warren, President Trump, and this other Besant creature over here talking about lower rates still, that doesn't help nobody. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense what we're seeing here. And I don't believe there's a grand new plan under this, because President Trump could change this all today if he wanted to do it. But there's a lot that's missing here that, and unfortunately, we're speculating, we're filling in the blanks, and it's hard to do that. And
Right.
but again, I don't hear anything, I don't see anything, and I always try to gain an edge on this, man. Information is gives you an edge, and I
Sure.
try to share this with everyone on my blog and here with you. If I hear things, believe me, I'm going to let people know. But I
Sure.
haven't heard a peep, not a word, not a sound, not a syllable, not an utterance about the possibility of the United States adding to its gold reserves, whether or not whatever is at Fort Knox or wherever else doesn't matter. Just that's about that. That is a point that we need to start paying attention to, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, we got the gold and silver certificates that have been sitting in the background for a long time. We could easily exercise those. So I'm praying that that is going to somehow, in some way, in God's timing, materialize here as we go forward, as you said, sooner than later. So as we conclude today, Greg, last thoughts to the audience as always. And I know it's easy, but tell us anyway, where can people find your work, please?
Oh, my website, I'm putting up a lot of information there lately, especially on the second page where I'm breaking down what's happening with the markets. I'm doing a couple of other breakdowns here. It's all free for everyone to get a better handle on it. I did silver, as I said, I did the dollar. I will be doing other things too. So my website's fine. YouTube, I do this twice a day, as you know. So that's it, man. I'm working as hard as I can to keep people in the loop, and I don't know, man. I'm a little disheartened at where I see things right now, and I hate to see people suffer, and I know they are.
Yeah.
My neighbors and people here where I live. Look, man, people are a little on the more well off side, and even they're hurting right now.
Mm.
Some of them own businesses, and they're like, I don't know how I can survive. My input costs are rising. My customers are hurting. I'm seeing my business go away. And this is something I said was going to happen. It's too obvious. So we're being squeezed. People are being squeezed and still in favor of what? The corporate agenda. There's nothing standing in the way of fulfilling it right now. It just looks like that pathway to fulfill it is is really being opened up under a lot of what President Trump is doing right now. I don't see how anything he's done right now, honestly, and maybe you can correct me here, and I would love to be corrected, is going to help small business here right now. I just don't see an immediate fix. I also understand that small business here, they're looking for a lifeline. And a lot of small business owners are actually looking to the president to say, okay, look, man, we need some kind of lifeline. I don't know what is going to be provided. If you've heard anything, I would love to hear from you on that. I would share this with my audience as well.
Sure.
But from what I understand, there's nothing right now. It's all about the corporate agenda, and that's a problem in my opinion. It really is. It's about control. And I've been telling people that control. is going to be extorted from them moving forward. And it was happening all under Biden as well. It's the truth. I just don't know another way to put it. We all, I think, expected things maybe to be different. Maybe it will be. But right now, I think small businesses here, they need help. And I can't imagine that if things stay the way they are, that within, let's say, 6 months is where I put my timeline for the U.S. economy to be unrecognizable from where we are. It's under 6 months as of right now. Um, I don't see this playing out in a way that is conducive to small businesses thriving. Do you?
No, I haven't heard anything as of yet. No. What I
Anyway, that's where we're at, bro. But you know what? Look, man, we're doing our part here. We're trying to let people understand what's going on. And I think it's so important, bro, because what people want to know is number one, they want to know the truth. We know where the truth comes from, period, the
Mhm.
end. Okay, we can leave it there. And understanding the truth, even if the truth isn't so good, lets people plan out what they need to do. If we're told this and that's not true, and Trump doesn't want to say, hey, you know what, we're moving towards recession, he knows we are. He knows we're in it now, and he knows this is going to make it worse. But he's like kind of backtracking from that. Look, man, tell people where we're going here, because it's easier for people to plan it, have it, and understand. Look, man, I really believe that one person could change the entire world. We've seen this throughout history. If we had, instead of the game of politics here and devilism in many, many ways, if we
Mhm.
had truth, people would know what to do. They would take action. But that's not what we're getting here. It seems like a continuation of more garbage here. Numbers and pictures and this and no accountability and no arrest and so far. Okay. But I don't know, man. It's just these things just are hitting me the wrong way. And I'm a kind of a guy who just listens to his own gut a lot of times. And invariably, you're gonna be right. Anyway, that's it, bro.
No, well, you're honest and you're vigilant and determined about the truth, and you're trying to.
People know the truth when they hear it.
Right.
And I know, and I think that's huge. And then people don't like it. A lot of people do that.
Oh
And they
yeah.
probably get the same thing as me. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
they will berate you, they will beat you down when you hit them with a little bit of truth because they're not used to it. And I almost don't blame people for it because they're so conditioned to hear the lies, the distractions, the deceptions, the look here, that when all of a sudden they see the light,
Right.
it blinds them, and they can't. And so what do? They lash out, and then this is I think again, I don't blame people for doing this, but I'm hoping that maybe, and I know we are, you and me, bro, we're
Mhm.
making a
Mhm.
difference. All I want to do
Yeah.
is I want people to look at our work, what we're doing here, and say these guys are at least trying to make a positive difference. They're trying at least to make people understand what's happening so they can do the right thing. And look, man,
Right.
what I want people to take away from any talk that we have, and we talk a lot, you and I think you're right, and I love you. You know that.
Yeah.
I think
Likewise.
I want people to make up their own mind. I
Yeah.
don't want to change anyone's mind. I don't want people to, whatever, research what I say or what we talk about here, and then think for yourself. Don't let anyone else think for you. Just
Mhm.
allow yourself to use your God-given gift of intellect. And you know what? This hits me the wrong way. This hits me the right way. Hey, that sounds right to me. I'm going to look into that. Well, this doesn't ring true. And then again, just come up with your own picture, what it means for you, because everyone's situation is different. I know I'm rambling on here a little bit,
Oh, it's
but
fine.
everyone's situation is different. And everyone needs to evaluate what it means for them. Now, I see a couple of other things unfolding. Let me just go on just a little bit more here. I
Please.
know I
You're
said
good.
we're over. What we're seeing here, again, on the federal level, and I can't imagine there's going to be a way to stop this from bleeding out into the private sector. So I want people to start thinking about what this means for them, their jobs, moving forward here. We already understand. Hold on a second. This is today. We just got some information about this. Some businesses are planning on mass layoffs and even
Hmm.
hiring
Hmm.
freezes moving forward.
Yeah.
I don't know where I put it. My desk is a mess.
It's all right.
But look this stuff up, people. Anyway, think about what that means for you. Again, because I think we're being thrust, unfortunately, into a situation here that's not going to be good, at least in the short run here. Hopefully, in the long, great. I mean, we all want that. But in the
Sure.
shorter run, you got to think if things were, let's say, for example, I believe we're going to see this tsunami of inflation hit us very, very hard. We can't stop it right now because there's nothing being put in its pathway. What does it mean for you, for your way of life here, for your cost of living, with support your children? You got to think of ways here to maybe start cutting back on spending. Don't go out there and, if you're a smoker, quit, man. If you're
Yeah.
drinking 5 cups of coffee a day, cut down to maybe 3. Find a way that you could stop that and maybe put some cash aside here and prepare yourself for higher prices, because higher prices are coming.
Hmm.
And you know what? Look, let's give Trump a little credit here. President Trump, what did he say during the address here? He totally counteracted his Treasury Secretary Bessent. Bessent was coming out telling everyone, "Oh, don't worry, tariffs aren't going to hit you. You're not going to feel the pinch." We all knew that was a lie. No
Yeah.
accountability, though, right? But then President Trump, what did he say? He said, "Well, you know what? You're going to feel it." At least he told us the truth.
We're going to be some pain.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful, man. I want to hear the truth. People want to hear that. Look, I understand that. Okay, we're in it. We're in an economic war, a tariff war, whatever you want to say. But at least people are ready for it. If they're being told by Bessent, "Hey, you know what? Oh, don't worry, it's not going to hit you." Well, then people don't prepare. But if President Trump corrected that and said, "Hey, you know what? You are going to feel the pinch." That's beautiful, man. Let people know the truth
Yeah.
so they can make up their mind about what they have to do. Sound
Exactly.
about right?
Well, I mean, again, we could go on many, many analogies, Greg, but I had a job once years ago, if you don't mind me just sharing something quick.
No,
Uh,
please, dude. I love this.
well, I want to respect your time because I know you're a busy guy, but
No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
I appreciate it. No, the simple part of it is I had a job once where the operations director pulled me aside. She said, "John, people can handle anything as long as they know it's coming." And that's what we're trying to do here. And whether your instincts, whether it's business, whether it's relationships, be it friendship, romantic, you have to trust your instincts, your internal engine that tells you about people, whether they're being genuine or honest or not. And the same compass has to apply, as you know. And just another biblical verse your mom probably told you, John 8:32, you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. So we're trying to instill that here.
That was my father. My
Okay,
father used to say that.
well, you got a good balance. There you go. So, well, what we'll do is always we'll leave the link in the description so everybody can check out your work. We
All right, man. This
appreciate.
has
I
been
watch you
great. I
every
really
day, and
enjoyed this.
you too, buddy.
Yeah.
Much love, and we'll talk soon, brother. God bless. Folks, for over a year now, we've been extolling the virtues of buying precious metals. As you can see, Fort Knox is about to be audited, and that's imminent, and you're going to see that gold reserves are little to none. What do you think that'll do to the price of gold? And with silver being ransacked with COMEX on the markets, that's sure to follow as well. The only question is, are you going to take action or not? If you haven't, what are you waiting for? And if you have, please take a moment to visit one of our great sponsors here below, the link in the description, and call for the information. It's free. The consultation is free. The cost of not taking advantage of this has lasting consequences, folks. Please tell them John and Chris sent you. You'll be more than happy that you did.